Alright, and this is the second video that we have for setting up your WordPress portfolio. So the last video covered how to actually create an account with WordPress and did a little overview on why we're creating ePortfolios to begin with. And this video is going to be primarily on how to set up the actual website for your electronic portfolio. So the first thing is if you're not at this screen right here, if you're not looking at what I have on my screen, after you've created an account, just go to wordpress.com. And if it automatically logs you in, you should see a page like this. If it doesn't, there should be a login button in the upper right hand corner, and just input the credentials that you set up in the last video. So once you're here, this is kind of just a front page. It allows you, it's kind of like a Facebook news feed. If you follow a bunch of different blogs, you should see them here. We're not really concerned about that. What we want to do is in the upper left hand corner, click My Sites. And this will show you just a little bit of activity, whether or not people have visited your site, what the traffic looks like day to day. Obviously, no one has seen this yet. There's no activity because the blog isn't actually finished yet. So in the upper left-hand corner, you should see your name and then the URL that you set up right underneath it. So it should be your username.wordpress.com. And remember, mine's a little bit different because I'm using a different email address. So at any time when you log in, if you want to see the site that you've created, you can click this button right here that says View Site, and I'm going to do that. And when your website loads, you really shouldn't see that much because we haven't set anything up. Other than your name and then your little subtitle text underneath it, there's not going to be anything else there. That's because we haven't actually created anything yet. But this is going to be a way to view your blog. And at any time, if you're looking at your website and you want to go to the editing mode in the upper left-hand corner, you should see, if you're logged in, your name. When you highlight that, you'll see a few other options, and we want to click on WP Admin. WP Admin. And when we click on that, it'll bring you to your dashboard. I'm going to be referring to dashboard a lot because this is the main screen for editing anything on your blog. So there's lots of content in the middle here. It can be a little bit overwhelming. What we're going to do is actually just ignore everything in the middle. The only thing that we're concerned about right now is the Pages link on the left-hand menu. So we're going to click on Pages. And Pages controls, very simply, the pages of your website. Right now, by default, there's one page that's already created here, and it's About, but we're going to create a few more pages. We're going to create 4 more in total. So to create a new page, we're going to click the Add New button right at the top. And it brings you to the page editing screen. So first we're going to enter a title. The first page we want to make is actually the home page. So we're going to type in home at the top. And this is the page that the website's going to land on as soon as you go to your URL. So right here, we're not actually going to talk about the meat of the website. We're just going to set up the bones. And we can go back later and type in what we want. But for now, we can just type in fill in text for later. And just let yourself know that this is the home page. And again, we can go back and edit this at any time. This is just for us to know what to do in the future. So once you're done typing in some text there, you want to scroll down on this page, and there's a couple check boxes at the bottom, likes and shares. You want to uncheck these. Make sure that these are unchecked. So on pages where this option is available, it just adds more clutter to the bottom of the page, and really we don't really care if people are able to like or share our About page or our home page. So we're going to turn those off for all of the pages that we make. So once we're done there, we're going to go over to the right hand side, scroll up if you don't see this option, and it says Publish. We're going to click Publish. And it takes just a second. And it should give you a little notification at the top that says Page Published. Now it's really important to remember that anytime you're making any changes or editing any of the content, you need to click Publish or Update on the right hand side here. If you don't do that, then your changes won't go through. So it's a very important button. But now that that's done, we're going to go on and create a couple new pages. So right from the top here, we don't have to go all the way back to the Pages menu, but we can just click Add New. And we're going to do the same thing here, but the next page we want to make is Resume. So we're going to type Resume at the top. And here you can just remind yourself to fill in your resume or upload it. And the cool thing about the page editor here is it's called a what you see is what you get editor, meaning as I format text and change it just like in Word or any other text editor, it's going to actually publish the same way. So you'll see here a few options to make your text bold, to italicize some other text, or to just strike through it all. What you see here is actually going to be reflected on your blog, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But just for the future, when you're typing in things, what you see here as you're editing it is what's going to be finally published. If you click this little link on the right-hand side of the top menu, you'll see toggle or toolbar toggle. When you click that, you get a few more options. So you can indent the text, you can change the text color even. So if I wanted to make this orange, it's orange. And you also have a few options for font sizes. So you have paragraph, but then you also have headings and larger text sizes that you can use just to help differentiate different sections of your text. So from here, remember, you want to scroll down and make sure that you uncheck show likes and show sharing buttons. Once you're done with that, we're going to click publish. And then once it's done, it'll let you know page published, and we're going to create a couple more. So click add new. So we've already created home. We've created a resume page. There's already the about page made by default. The next one we're going to create is the portfolio page. Same thing here. We're just going to let ourselves know what to put on this page. And your portfolio is going to be a place where you can showcase all the work that you've basically done that you're proud of, projects that you have completed, collaborations that you've been a part of, even publications that you've been included in. It's all going to go here. And once we're done, we're going to scroll down, uncheck show likes and show sharing buttons, and click publish. And it'll bring you to this page. It'll say page published. Now real quick, if you want to see all the pages that you've created, you should click pages on the left hand side, and it's going to by default bring you to the screen of all the pages. So before we only had an about page, but since then we've created a home, a portfolio, and a resume page. Now we're just going to create one more page by clicking add new at the top, and the last page we're going to create is a contact page. So here we're going to input contact information. I would suggest that you place your email on here. Maybe if you want to link your Twitter or LinkedIn as well, you can place your information here. Scroll down, make sure that show likes and show sharing buttons is unchecked again, and publish your last page. And now we've created all of them. So let's check again. Click on pages on the left-hand menu. And we should see 5 pages there: about, contact, home, portfolio, and resume. And that's great. So the next thing we're going to do is actually change some of the settings about these pages. So you're going to check this box at the top, which checks all of them off. And by default, each page that we've created allows users, when they're reading your page, to make comments at the bottom. And we want to remove that feature. So once you have them all checked off, you're going to click this drop-down menu that says Bulk Actions, and then click Edit. And then click Apply right next to it. And a new menu should pop open at the top here. And really, the only thing we're going to be changing is Comments. It's the second one from the bottom. And you're going to click that drop-down menu and click Do Not Allow. And again, make sure that you click the Update button in the bottom right-hand corner once that's checked off. And it'll take a second here. And that's updated, so it'll let you know 5 pages have been updated, and we've removed the commenting feature on all of our pages. It's really important. I can't reiterate enough that anytime you make changes to anything, there's always a Save Changes or an Update button that needs to be pressed in order for those changes to actually be published and reflect on your website. So just make sure anytime you change something that you're clicking a Save button afterwards. Okay, so now we have our 5 pages, and anytime if you want to check on your website to see what it looks like, in the upper left hand corner you'll see your name, and when you click on that it'll actually bring you to your website. The thing that I don't like is that it navigates you to the website straight from the editing screen, so now I have to actually click the back button. What I like to do is I'm going to go back here. If you right click on your name you'll get a little option, and you can open it up in a new tab. And it opens up right over here, and that's what I like to do. I like to have 2 tabs just so I can switch back and forth when I'm working, and it makes things a little bit easier than going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So I have my 2 pages here, my editing page on the left-hand side, and then the final product here. But if you look at it, you don't really see any of the pages we've created. It looks exactly the same as when we first went to it. That's because there's no menu in effect yet. But before we even create a menu, we want to choose a theme. And to choose the theme, we're going to go on the left-hand side to the Appearance menu. Don't click it. Just highlight it, and you'll see the first one. It says Themes. Click there. And here it's going to list off a bunch of different themes that we can choose for our website. It's really cool. There are lots of themes that are free, some that you can pay for, but what we're going to be looking for is a free theme. And so in the upper right-hand corner, it'll help us narrow it down a little bit when you click Free. And it removes all of the paid templates. And the one that we're looking for is called Writer, W-R-I-T-R. But what we'll do is we'll just scroll down here. There's lots of different options for us to choose, but we're looking for one, and scroll down. It's a little bit tricky to find, and unfortunately there's no search option, so we kind of just have to scroll down and look for it ourselves. And we're looking for Writer, W-R-I-T-R. You can go down a ways here. We'll keep going. As you can see, it's a pretty active community, so people are constantly uploading different templates to use. And we're going, and it's right here, W-R-I-T-R. You'll see it's got a green sidebar here. It says a hot cup of tea right there. And that's what we're looking for. We're going to click this blue button that says Activate. And this screen pops up and it says, "Thank you for choosing Writer by Automatic." And we're just going to close that out right there. So the new theme has been activated, so we are good to go. Let's see what it looks like. Again, you can either switch over to a tab if you have your website open and just click Refresh. And you should see a changed theme. Once more, if you don't have that other tab open, you can just right-click on your name and open a new tab, and it'll let you see what we've got here. So we're almost there. We've got the theme, but what we don't have is that menu on the left-hand side. So we are going to go ahead, we're going to close out some extra menus here. We're going to go back to this dashboard here, and on the left-hand side, under Appearance again, we're going to look for Menus, which is the 4th option down, and click on that. And in the center here, it's going to give you an option to create a menu. Then we're just going to type in, for the menu name, Default. And if it doesn't automatically, you should see a bunch of options here. And these are all the pages that we've created, but there are some duplicates. So we're going to remove the duplicates. We're going to remove the second home page. Click Remove. And we're actually going to even remove the first home page because it just goes to your website by default anyway. So click Remove. So you should have 4 menu items there. You should have About, Contact, Portfolio, and Resume. And the structure of our menu is going to be set up like this. At first, we're going to have our About page. The second thing is we're going to have our Portfolio. And the third thing we're going to have is our Resume. And lastly, we're going to have Contact. Make sure that when you are dragging and dropping your menu items, that they're not subset like this. Then they become sub-items, and they're not their own menu items when you're looking at the menu. So make sure they're all in a single line here. If you had nothing here in the center, you can add them from the left. So on the left-hand side, you should see all the pages that you created. If you check one, like Contact, and click Add to Menu, it'll bring it right over to the center. So now we have 2 contact pages. We're just going to delete and remove the extra one. So you have 4 things here. Click the Create Menu button. And once it's done creating, it'll open up this extra menu at the bottom. And make sure you check off where it says Primary Menu. That actually assigns this menu as the primary menu for your website. And again, click Save Menu. Always save your changes. Give it a second. And it should say at the top, Default has been updated. That's the name of the menu. So now when we look at our website, we'll open it up in a new tab again. You should see your menu right there on the left hand side. So a couple more things before we're finished. We're almost there. First is that you can see that this website is not the full page length. It's kind of halfway if you look there. So what we want to do is actually make this white content area wider. And the way that we do that is we go back to our dashboard, and on the left hand side under appearance again, we're going to click on customize. It brings us to this page that looks very much like our blog, but on the right hand side there's a new menu. And the first thing we're going to do is click on theme options right at the bottom. And the second checkbox here is for a wider content area. We're going to check that off. There's also an option to change the color, so if I want to change it to any other color, I'm going to do that. So let's choose red. And if you give it a second, it should give you a live preview over here on the left. And there it goes to red. Again, make sure that you click save. It'll say saving changes on the right hand side. And it says your design is published. That's great. So now I have a red website. So what we want to do is, if you put your mouse on the right hand side, you'll see this blue menu again. Scroll all the way down and make sure you just click that X button, and it should bring us back to the dashboard. And here we are at the dashboard. So let's just take a look at what our website looks like right now. Refresh. We've got our menus on the right hand side. The content area is wider, which is nice. It isn't red, but it takes a little bit of time for the color to go through. And so that is it. We've created our first 5-page website. Again, to go back and actually fill in all of that content, we can look through our pages here, and we can see that the initial about page, we didn't actually go in here and edit anything. So this is the page set up by default. And you can see here the options that we actually disabled for the other pages. We'll compare it with the portfolio page. The portfolio page has nothing underneath it, which is what we want. But the about page, we never actually edited any of the content. When you're logged in as the user of this website, there's an edit button here. That isn't normally displayed if you're not logged in, but this brings us straight to the editing page. And so this brought us straight to the about editing page, where we can actually change some of the content. Now, if you don't actually want to navigate through the web page, what you can do is on the left-hand side, just click Pages, and it'll bring you to a list of all of your pages and highlight the one that you want to edit. So what we want to edit is the About page. Go in here and scroll down and make sure that Show Likes and Show Sharing buttons is off, and click Update. And now all of the pages look the same. So to prove it to you, we'll click on our name, go to our website, but it says nothing found here. Well, I thought we've created a home page. That's the last thing that we need to do, is make sure that the website by default aims at the home page and not your blog role. And so if you were to actually create blog posts, this is where they would go. There's nothing found because we haven't created any blog posts to put on our blog role. But what we're gonna do is make the home page our home page. So what we're going to do is make our website point to that home page we created. So go back to the dashboard one last time. On the left hand side here, we're going to scroll down to Settings, highlight that, and then go to Reading, third option down. And right now, the front page displays your latest posts. Well, we're not posting, but what we can do is select a static page. Click that, and then for the front page, we just want that to be home. Scroll down, and as always, save your changes. Once the settings have been saved, now let's see what we've got. Go back to our website, hit refresh, and it should be our home page. There you go. Fill in text for later, home page. So that's it for this video of setting up just the bare bones of our website. If you want to know more about uploading your photo or filling out any of the information for any of these pages, just stay tuned and check out the other videos. Thanks for listening.